Well, some would argue Ndamukong Suh should change his style of play. Suh got a kick in his wallet and was fined $30,000 for kicking FTSueKickShaub in the Lions' Thanksgiving Day loss to the Texans. But Suh's still not apologizing. Take a listen.
It's a crazy play. It's one that unfortunately happened. I didn't even realize until the end of the game, and I see my Twitter feed, I see my friends telling me about it. But other than that, I mean, you can't do much more about it. I was being dragged to the ground, and my foot inadvertently hit the man. But I think I'm going to always be punished at some form or fashion for last Thanksgiving. I'm going to apologize for it. I'm going to continue to apologize for it. Something that happened, a mistake that I made, living up to it and continue to move past it. Some people may not, some people will, and some people will teeter-totter back and forth between it, depending on whatever the situation is or whatever may happen, as we had this last incident on Thanksgiving.
It was inadvertent, and he's getting a bad rap, so to speak. People are blaming him. His reputation precedes him. And so the question is, should the NFL have fined Suh? Dr. Detroit,
yeah,
a.k.a. Lomas
Do you mind, Skip? Do you mind? No.
Oh, we got a fist pound.
No. And now I have to say this on camera. He makes it hard to defend him because of some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth. But no.
Why?
I mean, how can the commissioner, and that's why I keep saying, this man is operating on thin ice, the commissioner. How can you fine a person for intent? You know, you're not inside this person's mind. How do you know he intentionally tried to kick this guy? Because basically that's what he's saying. He's finding them for intent, not for the action, but seem like more for the intent. And you know, Marcellus, with players, we want it black and white. We don't want no gray area. We have to have it black and white. And to me, the commissioner keeps sending a bad signal when he takes things. And to me, either he doesn't examine it all the way, he doesn't think about it all the way, or he just makes these rash decisions. Go back to the Saints.
Yeah.
Go back to some of these players' suspensions. So I don't understand what the commissioner's doing. I know it was Thanksgiving Day game. That's the big stage for the NFL. They don't want to look bad on Thanksgiving.
2 years in a row.
Right. So I know that has something to do with it, Skip, but you cannot fine people on intent. I don't like that. Guys want to know, okay, you fine me because I kicked this guy and you think I purposely kicked him. Don't tell me, oh, well, you thought my intent was to kick this guy.
Okay.
That's not going to go with
Your
me.
view. Was it intentional?
No, Skip.
Oh, you think no?
Skip.
Man, did you play in the NFL or not?
You've been cut. I don't cut guys like you before. You trying to tell me a guy cutting you down, you got time in a split second while you falling, okay, I'm going to roll over, I'm going to aim my foot, and I'm going to kick him right in the middle.
He is from Detroit, so you understand.
And the commissioner, the commissioner sits there, and those guys sit there with a clicker and go frame for frame looking at that. That happens like that.
And you know
That's
what?
A split second
all right,
decision.
first of all, let me answer the question. Yes, he should have been fined. Yes, there's a lack of transparency in the process, but that's a different issue. Lomas, you played in the NFL for 347 years. I don't know how long you played, but you played old tackle forever.
Right.
Trust me, Lomas, I've been in that situation before, and you've been in that situation before. We are professional athletes.
Right.
Within milliseconds, we still have the awareness to do something or not do something. That's why player safety is such an issue right now, because these players are now being retrained. With that said,
okay,
watch this play in slow-mo.
What?
The first part is when he's getting pulled to the ground, there are 2 points of contact.
Watch the
2
play.
points of contact.
Look at the monitor.
His leg hits him in the groin, and then it extends.
Look
you know
right
what
there.
that means?
That man is looking at the ground.
Yeah,
How
you
does
know what?
he know?
I'm going to tell you why. He already took a peek when he swirled around. There's 2 points of contact, Lomas. He hit him in the leg, and then he extended. But beyond that, okay, you don't give me that point. Give me this point. When he did hit him, and you realize my foot is not on the ground, it's on another man, how come your foot stays up in the air? Do you know how big Ndamukong Suh is? You know how heavy your leg is? You know that it takes a voluntary action to keep your leg in the air? So if your leg naturally is not on the ground after you've been on the ground for 2 or 3 seconds, that means you're thinking about where your leg is and you try to put your leg where it is.
But haven't you tried to break your fall before? Haven't you tried the fall?
And aren't you aware of what you broke your fall on?
Right, but I'm just saying, if you're breaking your fall,
look, one more time.
You're breaking your fall with your arms.
There was an extension.
What your legs are doing.
There was an extension.
What your legs are doing.
Kick, extension and foot stays up in the air. I'm not going to make the conflation of intent and action, but I know that the commissioner's office saw with a reasonable doubt something occurred. Therefore, he wasn't suspended, but something occurred. You get a $30,000 fine.
I can't buy it.
Stephen A., break the tie.
Well, listen, I'm trying to figure out how Marcellus Wiley and Lomas Brown could debate this with such fervor without cringing once. I mean, those are man rules that were violated. I mean, just talking about it hurts. You understand? Imagining Ndamukong Suh hitting you there. I mean, could you at least fake like you're cringing, fellas? I mean, my Lord, that is a hard one to take. Now, with that being said, I will say to you that I believe it seems to me like it was intentional, but I wasn't really sure. Marcellus, that was a very astute breakdown. I can't deny anything that you said. My biggest thing, however, is this. If you're not going to suspend him, and your argument is that you can't tell whether it was intentional, then why fine him at all? Either fine him and suspend him or don't.
I tell you,
but don't sit there.
Because of the variances, the severity of it, it's the same thing in any punishment, court of law, whatever it is. There are different degrees of the same crime, and then there's different penalties based on that punishment. The ultimate penalty and punishment would have been suspension. Then you start to walk down the scale and say, okay, not a suspension because that would cost them $500,000, $100,000. Because there was a little bit of reasonable doubt. That's why it's such a low number on the fine system, but there's still an issue with it.
But Marcellus, if it's reasonable doubt, and as Lomas said, you can't prove intent, my argument is make a decision. Suspend him or leave him alone.
I tell you
this, it's just that simple to me.
Stephen A., there's reasonable doubt, but he lost the benefit of the doubt. Therefore, that's why there's a suspension.
But here's the problem. But here's the problem with that. The benefit of a doubt was based on an incident that occurred a year ago.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying to you, it's a year ago. We got to be careful about that, because if we're talking about benefit of the doubt, what kind of a benefit of the doubt does the NFL have right now? With all the back and forth in their decision-making that has transpired over the last few weeks. So we got to take that into consideration, too.
This is reactionary. That's my thing, it's reactionary. It happens just like that. Now, if I could sit in front of a clicker and I could sit there and slow it down and slow it down and slow it down, you're right. I'm going to come up with a thing, well, maybe he didn't bring his leg down far enough.
If you're looking for something,
if you're looking for it, you're going to find it. But if you go off just watching that play on TV and you just see that, it's no way you're going to sit there and say that man intentionally did that.
In all your years playing this game, all my years watching this game, have we ever seen that happen before?
Thank you.
I've never seen it happen before.
And
Not once.
Look how many defenders. Ask Charles Tillman. Ask defenders, and we know how to do this. We can find a little football in a crowd and a mess of 12 people. We can find this little football and rip it out. And we have that much body control, that much awareness, that much understanding of what we are trying to do. You're trying to tell me now your leg is just going to flail through the air and you're not going to know where it's landing?
Marcellus, you've been cut.
Yes.
You've been cut before. You know that.
And when I'm cut?
So when you got cut, on the way down to the ground, you were thinking about how you were going to fall, where your legs were going.
No, Lomas, that's why it shouldn't be 2 points of contact. Why did you kick them and then all of a sudden extend and all of a sudden keep your leg in the air?
I don't see the extension. I see you extending because you falling down.
I did see an extension.
Did you see it?
I did.
Well, that's the way I fall. When I fall
we're going to have to leave it right here, guys.
Harry saw it.